So hi, I'm Addie and this is Sophie, and we're going to be singing For Good from Wicked.
Addie. Oh gosh, now I have to dry my tears. And I just want to say it strikes me as one of those things that Montessori kids do. They come to you and say, we want to sing this song at graduation. You have to put it on the program. And so you go with it, and thank you so much for your contributions. So welcome. Welcome to our second graduation ceremony of Metro Montessori Middle School. Thank you for joining us to celebrate today. There's grandparents, aunts, dads and moms, brothers and sisters. Thank you for being here. We gather to celebrate the growth and the development, the work and the contributions of these 9 people here. Some of these students have been with us since the age of 1. Some just came a couple of years ago. We also celebrate the great privilege that we have of having you families in a community in relative unison together about growing the future of our humanity. Dr. Montessori described adolescence as the years from 12 to 18. So being at 14, as most of you are, it's not even quite halfway through this dynamic period of growth. Do you really have to go to high school? Okay. We will send you off to adventure into your future, and we charge you with the task of coming back to share with us updates, and also to be active members of our Childpeace Metro Montessori Alumni Association. And though your excitement to move on from this place to other places is pretty high right now, please remember that we really have treasured these times with you over many years, and we want to hear about you in the future. So now, for you in the audience and for you guides here on the stage, the graduates have a few words to share.
Hello, and welcome to the 2012 graduation from Metro. I've been in this community since I was 18 months. I've graduated from the toddler community, Children's House, Lower Elementary, Upper Elementary, and now Metro. It's strange to think that I will be leaving people I've known since infancy, and it is also very strange to be leaving people I've only known for 2 years, but I've become really close with them. We as a class have many memories together, like when we went on our first Odyssey trip. At the beginning of the Odyssey trip, we all did not know each other very well, but throughout the duration of the trip, we grew closer and closer through activities such as building a clubhouse, going to Ashland, and just hanging out around the campfire. I will miss my class, but will never forget the good times we have shared.
Hello, my name is Eloise Doubleday, and I would like to tell you about my introduction to Montessori. I came to Montessori at 18 months old. My earliest memory was crying when my mom dropped me off and listening to the Anansi stories. I remember the farm animal material and the Asian map, which gave me troubles. I have had so many good memories from my time at Childpeace. One that I will never forget is when Jimmy took us to a waste treatment plant. It was terrible. It smelled so bad, but I'll never forget it. It was probably the worst field trip I've ever been on. As I moved on in the program, I was accompanied by Ari.
Hello, my name is Ari Kalfadis. I came to Montessori at 18 months as well. Some of my earliest memories at Montessori community are, I was scared of going to sleep during nap time because I was afraid people were going to trample me. I also worked with sandpaper letters so I could learn to write cursive, and I also loved to play with the pink flowers so I could learn to stack the pieces from largest to smallest in a period, like a pyramid. While I've been here for my whole life, some of my peers are brand new to Montessori.
Hello, my name is Frank Lindsay. I came to the school 1.5 years ago. I liked my environment and the class. It was very comforting and welcoming, much different from my public school experience. My favorite experience over the last year was visiting Crater Lake on this year's Odyssey trip. My Metro experience began at a time before I could truly understand how well this influenced my life. Now that Montessori can put you into a position where you are hardworking and you can be a successful adult.
Hello, I'm B.B. Powers McCormack. I came to the Metro community in October of 2010. My favorite part was the small class size and almost everyone was welcoming. One of my best memories was when Jimmy ran me into the tricycles over there going 45 miles an hour on a scooter board. Another memory I will remember is when my pet rat, Basmati, ate my current events homework and Jimmy was fine with it. To me, the Montessori community is a very unique one, and one which I feel developed my mind into one that can learn forever.
My name is Addie Fecker, and I would like to share with you why the Montessori community is so special. Montessori is a very extraordinary style of teaching. It's a style that not only teaches facts about science or history, but a way to be human and how to learn. It teaches adolescents specifically how to be a functioning adult, how to communicate, and how to be independent. It creates a student who not only can learn, but loves to learn. This is key. If a student loves learning, they will continue to learn throughout their life. I've been in the Montessori program most of my life, and it's been very beneficial for me. I now know I'm ready for high school.
Hello, my name is Georgia Von Zabely. I will be talking about Metro Montessori specifically. Metro Middle School is just developing, and we're only the second graduating class. Every day at Metro, we try new things and make rules that will be used in the years to come. It is nice to be able to contribute my opinion to decisions made in the class. Schools rarely consult the students about issues, and our class has made protocols for class meeting and rules about the dress code. Each year, we also read through the handbook and make changes. It's nice to know that I'm leaving a piece of wisdom behind for future students. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alexander Camacho, and I would like to talk about what my hopes are for Metro in the coming years. Metro is a developing program, and I am very happy to be a part of its first years. I know that it will continue to grow and become richer and more diverse. I have had a great time at Metro because it is a unique learning environment that enables all learners to learn efficiently. I know that Metro will provide a positive experience for all who come in the future.
Hi, my name is Sophie McKay. I'm really going to miss all my fellow 8th graders. I will also miss my 7th grade friends as well. My hopes for the 7th graders are that they will become leaders in their community and be good role models for the incoming 7ths. I hope that they welcome the new 7th graders as we welcome them. I hope that they continue to grow and become better people. I have so many thank yous to everyone who's helped and supported me through my Childpeace and Metro journey. First, I'd like to thank all the staff at the school. Jean, thank you for always letting me cook in the kitchen and helping me with all my birthday lunches. And Vu for taking all my graduation photos, as well as capturing so many memories of my time here through photos. I very much appreciate that. I would also like to thank all my teachers, Jennifer, Lynn, and Tron, who are the most amazing toddler teachers, Lisa, who is my children's house teacher, Dawn and Claire, who are both my fantastic lower L teachers, Greg, who made me feel so welcome in the upper L and teach me so much, Josh, you are my assistant for all my elementary experience. You've helped me work on lots of art projects. Now I would like to thank my current teachers. Marcia, your love for math has helped me embrace math even more. Andrea, you are an amazing advisor and a reading workshop teacher. I have learned so much writing here and improved a lot. Jimmy, you are so funny. You have a really good sense of humor. You're always keeping the class laughing. I would like to thank my family for always being there for me and being a major support system. I would especially like to thank my mom. I just want to thank you for everything you've done for me. I feel very lucky. And thank you to all my friends. I know I can always turn to you when I need advice or a good laugh. Lastly, I would like to thank my class. You guys are so amazing. I will miss you guys so much, and I will never forget all the good times we have shared. Thank you.
I would like to thank all the teachers I've had so far for helping me get through school and teaching me everything I know, and for helping me get into OES, which is my first choice for high school. I would like to thank all my friends for always being there for me, and who always know how to cheer me up and make me laugh. Friends have always been really important to me, and a big part of my life, so I'd really like to thank you all. I would like to thank my family, my mom and dad, my sister Ingrid, and my dog Barley. They've always supported me and helped me through everything. I'd like to send out a special thank you to my dad and Andrea for helping me so much on my high school applications. My dad spent so much time helping me write, and rewrite again my applications. Andrea proofread them for me and gave me suggestions, and then my dad and I rewrote them again. Lastly, I'd like to thank Sue and everybody in the office for giving me a spot at Childpeace when I was 18 months old, and giving me the unique education that Childpeace has to offer, which I find superior to other schools' educations. Thank you.
I would like to give a big thank you to all my teachers that I've had so far for making learning enjoyable and making me responsible for meeting deadlines on projects. I would also like to thank my basketball coaches for making me a great leader and teaching me that basketball is more than just a game. I would also like to give a shout out to all my friends over the years. In the last couple of years, I became really close friends with my 8th graders. I'd like to give a big special thanks to Mac and Alexander for being great friends and always there to share a laugh. My final thank you I'd like to give to my family. I'd like to thank my family for always being there and giving me support and sending me to this part of school. I would like to thank my mom for always helping me with homework, taking me and picking me up from school, and always letting me have friends over. I would like to thank my dad for always taking me places, playing basketball with me, and making sure I did my best on projects. I would also like to thank my brother for playing with me and most of the time not bothering me.
All right. Okay. First, I'd like to thank my teachers. I would like to thank Andrea for encouraging my interest and abilities. I would like to thank Jimmy for providing structure to my political arguments during Global Connections. And thank you to Marcia for being one of my most supporting and guiding teachers I have ever had. Thank you for being more than I expected. You went above and beyond the normal job. I would also like to thank my parents for doing everything they could for me. I know that they always are taking me into consideration, and I truly appreciate it. And lastly, I'd like to thank all of my classmates who I've learned to work with, cope with, and cope with. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Ari and Alexander, who are great friends.
I'd first like to thank my teachers. I've learned so much from my teachers these past couple years. Jimmy has always made learning fun, except for the treatment plant, but I'd like to thank Marcia for keeping the group focused, and I'd like to thank Andrea for her patience when teaching me Spanish, and I wish her good luck as a mother in the coming years. My great education will lead me to several opportunities in the future. Secondly, I'd like to thank my family and pets. My parents have guided me through my life and have helped me become who I am now. Mia, my sister, has always been there for me at tease, and well, yeah. And my pets, they have taught me so much. They have been the ones that have really been there for me. They have led me to my love of animals and nature. Next, I'd like to thank my fellow 8th graders. We have had such a great bond over these past 2 years, and I hope we'll stay in touch through high school. Finally, I'd like to thank my friends, some of my greatest friends I've known since 1st grade 8 years ago. We have shared so many memories and argued over how many years we've known each other. I hope to stay in touch with them for the many years to come. Thank you.
There are so many wonderful people here to support me today, some who I don't have a chance to thank often. First, my family. You are my support system, my helping hand, my base. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be who I am now. Next, my teachers. You're the ones who give me knowledge, give me confidence. Jimmy, you are always fun to have in class. Andrea, you're a great teacher and a good mentor. I love learning from you and sharing my writing with you. Marcia, you've helped me the most throughout my experience at Metro. You are always willing to help me and consult with me. I know I can look to you when I need help. Then my friends. You're why I get up every morning. You're why I come to school. Thank you for accepting my personality and being there in times of need. Lastly, my fellow 8th graders. You have all affected me in so many ways. You guys are my family, and I'll probably miss you the most. Kina, you were always there to give me advice and a hug. Eloise, I enjoyed doing math with you this year. It was a lot of fun. Ari, thank you for being there for me and making me laugh. Phoebe, I enjoyed being in occupations and humanities with you. You're a close friend, even though you came only halfway through 7th grade. Matt, thank you for making me laugh. I enjoy arguing, talking about schools, and working with you. Gorg, you have been my best friend this year. You always listen to my problems and always are there for me when I'm feeling down. Alexander, we've probably been friends the longest, and you always make me laugh when I'm upset. Sophie, you and I are so alike, yet so different. I've enjoyed singing with you, talking about theater with you, and I know we'll see each other sometime. I'm going to miss you all so much. Thank you.
I would first like to thank my teachers. They have all taught me so much and helped me become more independent. First, Marcia for helping me with difficult math and managing my homework load. Jimmy for having fun occupations and making us all laugh. Andrea for helping me improve my writing skills and being a wonderful Spanish teacher. Next, I'd like to thank my friends for always being supportive and hilarious. It's been so fun being in a class of 18 because I've gotten to know everyone really well. Finally, I would like to thank my family for being so encouraging and supportive. They're always here if I need anything, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I would like to thank my family so much for being the keystone of my life and education. The two people in my life most frequently are my mom and dad. I would like to thank them for being the best parents ever. Now I would like to thank my teachers, Marcia, Andrea, and Jimmy. Jimmy, thank you for being the comedy relief in the class. You are so funny, and you're an awesome Global Connections teacher. Andrea, thank you for being the best Regents Workshop Metro's had and for being a great mentor and advisor. Marcia, thank you for being a wonderful math teacher. Even though math is not my favorite subject, you have made it fun and interesting. Last, thank you to all my 8th grade friends for being one of the most awesome classes I've ever been with. I'd like to make a special shout out to my 2 friends, Mac and Ari.
I would like to thank my family. They are always there, supporting me in everything I love to do. My mom has always been there when I needed someone to talk to or need someone to help me with my problems. My dad has been my chauffeur to most of my outside activities. If it wasn't not for you, I would not have gotten to my many, many performances. Thank you. I would like to thank my little brother and sister for always being able to make me laugh. Even though we don't always get along, you two are very important to me. I would like to thank my grandparents for making it possible for me to come to this school. I would also like to thank you for traveling across the country to come and see and support me through this important time of my life. Now I would like to thank my friends. I would not have been able to survive middle school without you guys. You are always there when I need someone to lean on or someone to confide in. I'm going to miss you all so much when I go to high school. Last but certainly not least, I would like to thank my teachers. Jimmy, you always know how to brighten up the mood of the group. Without you, we would never have been able to have all those amazing PE experiences. Marcia, I would like to thank you for all the awesome humanity projects I've been a part of. I will remember the Mesopotamia project forever. You have been the one to keep the group under control when things get out of hand. Andrea, although you are the newest teacher in our community, you are the one I would like to thank the most. You have helped me grow so much this year. I've become a better writer, and I've grown so much in Spanish. You were there for me when times got rough this year. You helped me through those times, and for that I thank you. I would finally like to thank all 3 of you for coping with my crazy schedule this winter. Also, you all played a big role in helping me get into my first choice of high schools, Northwest Academy. Thank you all.
Well, I don't even know what to say, and I'm not going to say what's on my paper, but there'll be a copy of what I thought I was going to say for you to take with you. I was probably the reluctant leader when it came to starting Metro, because I have always felt that, you know, if we're going to do it, we need to do it really well. And some of the people in this room know that I said over my dead body, will we do a middle school program? But it was the right thing to do, and now I know why. Because we have watched this group grow into the most amazing young adults, and they didn't do it with flower petals at every moment along the way. Growing up is not an easy thing to do. It's a very difficult thing to do, and it doesn't come without some ugly things and some challenging times and some things you have to learn about yourself. That's something that never changes. And we've been so lucky with this group that they never gave up. They always, like in a good marriage, talked it through to the end, even though it was sometimes difficult. They worked so hard on things that were very hard for some of them, and they worked so collaboratively on things that they sometimes just didn't have the energy for. And I think you're going to take this experience with you, and as you sit here today, there's no way that you'll ever see how far this experience shines for you, and you're going to look back at this little globe of what these 2 years were, and at different times in your life, you're going to find different parts of it that are going to sparkle and help you along your way. I want to thank all of you, because you continue to teach us who are trying to create a really, really great and different and special program for middle school students. And I wouldn't exactly call you guinea pigs, but you certainly helped us in the experience of how to make this the best it can possibly be. I also want to thank our graduates who are here too, because we look at them and look at how well they're doing where they are and know that something very, very special is growing here. So the only part of what my written notes were that I'm going to share is this. Friends in your life are like pillars on your porch. Sometimes they hold you up, and sometimes they lean on you, and sometimes it's just enough to know that they're standing by. Good luck. We love you all.
introducing the graduates one by one. And first is Addie. So Addie, would you please come up? And Dharma, I think a few of the 7th graders either wrote or are ready to speak words that they want to share. So Dharma's coming up to say a few things to Addie first. Can you make a little space here?
Addie, amazing, daring, incredible, excellent. When I first saw you on the first day of school, I thought, I really like her hat. It's really pink. You were so nice to me on the Odyssey trip. I'm so happy that you are my friend and that you are such a great leader. I'm going to miss you so much, and I hope you have a fun time at Lincoln. All of us wish you well.
So each advisor has 3 of these students, and so we'll come up as our advisory student, or our mentee is ready. So Addie, leader, scholar, friend, director, singer, caring, giving, capable, astute, intense, strong, supportive, trustworthy. Superlative adjectives come easily when I think of Addie. In 2 years of sharing many days with Addie, I can't think of one situation where she has allowed herself to be ordinary for more than an instant. She always looks to greater ways to challenge herself in the next project. She's often said, I really could have done better, and then she goes on to do so. Addie just completed a very difficult and adult role as the director of our play. She astounded the guides daily with her organization and clear communication about the next task and the next day's work. She took on the difficult task of being a person in charge of peers who were not in the same mood about the work of the play that she was in. After Addie was settled in her high school applications and placement test, she specifically told us that she was committed to a strong finish at Metro, and functioning as director, she met that self-challenge. It is true in academics and in the social community of Metro that she will not leave a problem unsolved. She's developed all of the attributes a person needs to be a formidable force for good in this world. I believe the big voice that she has been given is destined to be heard. I cannot wait to see how she decides to apply herself and her talents to her future and the larger communities that she's now going to be joining. Addie, may you keep achieving your dreams, and all of our good wishes go with you.
Alexander Camacho.
I had the pleasure of being Alexander's advisor for this year. Anyone who knows Alexander has experienced his incredible energy and his zeal for life. Alexander has one of the largest hearts, a heart that reaches out to his peers, to other groups of people, and to animals. This compassion manifests itself in many ways. We see it in class discussions when Alexander speaks up for people who don't have a loud voice in our society. We also saw this compassion clearly on our Odyssey trip when Alexander chose to spend his own time interacting with animals on the Gearcrest farm. Alexander was one of the first people on the farm to treat the pigs with kindness, a care that was noticed by the family on the farm. And in fact, they changed some of the ways they worked with the pigs because of Alexander's care and compassion. He brought a sense of calm and dignity to the interactions with the pigs that most people had not considered. Alexander is also quick on his feet, primed for class discussions, debates, and meetings. His quick wit often helps him to be one of the more vocal members of our community, and this voice has been used throughout the year to speak up on important issues that many are hesitant to approach. Alexander's Spanish abilities made him a resource to his peers both in and out of class, And I can pretty much guarantee there are going to be a number of people up here who are going to miss having Alexander in their Spanish class because he's such a resource for them. Alexander, we're going to miss your passion and your energy at Metro. Make sure to use your wisdom and your courage to continue to speak about social justice. Also, we would love for you to come back and visit with us, giving inspiration to our future middle schoolers.
Ari Kalafatis. All students show significant growth and maturity during their time in Metro. It's the nature of these years, of course, but Ari has shown so much growth and maturing over the past couple years that I doubt any student could grow more. He's grown both academically and socially in some really delightful ways. Ari entered Metro as a very tentative student and writer, but he found within himself solid ground as a foundation from which to express himself. It's been exciting to watch the transformation, and he now excels in all subject areas. It's worth mentioning that Ari began at Childpeace at 1.5 years old. I bet that he was not the very quietest in Teresa's toddler community, just as his booming voice is often heard above the others in the Metro community. When he arrived at Metro, he had not yet found his writing voice or even confidence in writing. He now expresses himself clearly and insightfully while using his own writer's voice. That development has been very satisfying to watch. When Ari came to Metro, he was already a basketball hotshot, to whom I nodded politely as I showed him how the game was played. But now I have to work extremely hard just to score half the points he does, and I think he lets me have those points. Ari has shown a great deal of courage lately, too. After the performance of our play, The Princess Bride, after it was finished, he held one of our class pet rats. And if you know Ari, you know that is a courageous act. Ari has a heart of gold, we teachers like to say. More and more, he is showing a lot of care and concern for his fellow students. We all look forward to what the future holds for this fine young man as he begins his high school years at Jesuit and beyond. B.B. Powers McCormack.
Okay, BB, somebody in the 7th grade has a few words to say about you. Marika's coming up. Oops.
Edie, when I met you on the Odyssey trip, I was just happy to have someone to talk and joke with. But over the course of the year, I've grown to know you as a really good friend. You are hilarious, and Metro will not be the same without you. I really enjoyed our walks to Safeway, and you kept me laughing the entire time. I think my favorite moment would have to have been on the sailing trip, when you and Basin were trying to parasail with the tent flaps. We, of course, were the last ones to finish setting up the tent. I'm going to miss you and so many other 8th graders. Thank you for everything you guys have done this year. Next year we're entirely different, but I hope to keep in touch. Thank you, everyone.
BB came into our community at 12 years old with a great deal of reserve is an understatement. When possible, there was a book handy to retreat into as she decided when and if to join the activities around her. This never seemed like shyness. BB has always been very sure of who she is. The process that developed over the 2 years was more one of BB deciding to share who she is with us. We are still delighted that she loves books, reading, and that she is an imaginative writer, but we're also delighted that she has become 100% integral to all of our activities, always offering with her participation a great deal of wry wit, intelligence, high energy, and dependability. Bibi was a rock in her recent role of stage manager in our production, The Princess Bride. As meticulously as a professional, she kept a notebook that guided lights, sound, and blocking. She supported all of us, from cues on lines to students to foreseeing ways to keep students on task so that the play moved forward. She was giving us a little whisper in the ear if we teachers needed to step forward and do something. She has revealed herself as a person of capable steadfastness, holding the big picture structure for any project. She is a quiet force. In watching her as a stage manager, I noticed another strength that she has added to our community. In committing to our group, she also holds others accountable to the group. Bibi is not self-centered, and she will notice the need of others on her team and her group, and to know what needs to be done, shared, or tended for others. Bibi notices others. If someone is struggling with math or any other task in the classroom, she will offer what she knows or quietly do what's needed to help somebody ill at ease feel more comfortable. The whole class will understand the understatement that this ability, to absolutely know what is needed, it also extends to the smaller, furry, caged members of our community. She's always coaching us on what the rats need. I don't know what we're going to do without that. What they're feeling, what they're...
Just take your rats.
Oh, that's it. She acquired the rats for our classroom from the Humane Society. So, speaking of that, Bibi completed 30 hours of service this year to other animal friends. She went to the Humane Society, and we have this year a special presentation of a certificate and a service pin for students who completed service hours and documented their work. As a community of Childpeace, Metro especially values such contributions to the larger world, and we thank you, Bibi. So in your graduation packet, there's a certificate, and there's a wonderful little pin. Thank you, Bibi.
Speaking first for Eloise is Kate LeBlanc.
I met Eloise in 4th grade. She has always been a friendly person, always willing to help. She befriended me, and sometimes we worked together. One of our projects resulted in chickens for our school. Her love of animals, especially chickens and goats, has always been apparent, especially then. It wasn't until this year, though, that we really became friends. She was in Chile last year, so we weren't able to hang out much, and it was this year that our friendship really blossomed. She's always available when I need her, willing to give me advice or a hug. She has an amazing sense of humor, and her laugh is heard often. She is dedicated to whatever task she's working on, but still goes crazy with me sometimes. She is an amazing friend, and we will miss her when she goes off to high school next year. She better keep in touch.
Eloise, or Elo, has come a long way from her time in Teresa's class with Ari as an 18-month-old in the Childpeace toddler community. From about 25 inches to about 65 inches, to be exact. It is a gift for the Childpeace staff to see a child grow through that span of life. Eloise is a strong student, and she ended the year in such a strong way. In the last month of school, she was an integral part of making the dog biscuits for Sniff, which is the dog daycare business nearby. She did work at home when necessary to make this important project become a success. She was also part of the banana bread crew that prepared product for selling in the store and at the play. And she absolutely nailed the part of Inigo Montoya. When Eloise approached the mic to say hello, did anyone else hear her say, "My name is"? Plus, her final homework was stellar, well-written, and some of her most insightful thinking yet. One thing that also says a lot about Elo is the way she takes responsibility for doing a quality job from start to finish. It's not everyone who takes time to thoroughly clean up after a project. When I go to see on the process and I see that Elo is there, I just walk away smiling, knowing it's going to be perfect. And that is a great quality to have in middle school, which will take her far in many areas of life. There was a stretch of time in the past couple of years when Elo felt somewhat distant and emotionally flat, and that's always sad to see in a student who was once so lively. I remember calling her name every day in the roll call and just not getting a confident response or any response at all, which I guess can be expected from someone who is in Chile. Thank you for coming back, Elo. The enthusiasm and work ethic you bring has been a valuable contribution to the group, and we've been so fortunate to have Elo in our community. All the best to her as she begins her journey at Oregon Episcopal School. OES. Georgia Bonds Abely. Georgia has not been the very loudest student in the class. She was also probably not the loudest student in Children's House here at Childpeace when she began as a 5-year-old in Stephanie's room. But there is so much going on under Georgia's serene and poised surface. Let it here be noted that she is not a slouch. She carries herself with dignity pretty much all the time. I have had the privilege, and that's a word I chose consciously, privilege, to have read a lot of Georgia's writing over the past 2 years. Sometimes I am astounded by her wit, her insights, her humor, and her wisdom. She is an absolutely fearless and confident writer. She is a deep thinker, both compassionate as well as realistic and pragmatic. And then I love the surprising things Georgia will do. She agreed to take Bobo on her trip to Europe last summer. Bobo is our class mascot that a previous student bought in Ashland during our Odyssey trip in 2010. And when Georgia came back to school this fall, Bobo's adventures were all recorded and bound in a book. It's just a very cool and creative and classy thing to do. Gentlemen and ladies, look for Georgia to go places, starting with high school at Northwest Academy and much beyond. Georgia Bonds. To speak a few words, Mason finally.
Georgia, you have always been a good friend to me since the beginning of the year. When I felt sort of left out, you were a good friend and made me feel welcome. Ever since then, I have known that if I need you, you will be there for me, and it is extremely comforting. Especially in the beginning of the year, where I only knew a couple people well. I appreciate that you are quiet and never really outspoken, and our class really needed more people like you. People like you are rare. People who are positive 99.9% of the time. Everyone has their bad moods, but you seem to have less bad days than anyone I know. I know you will do well in high school, and I will miss you a lot. I hope you will stay in touch and come visit next year. We all hope you have a great next 4 years.
Keena Fraser Griffin.
One of my earliest memories of Keena was her bright face welcoming me into the community, this being my first year here, and Keena having been here for so many more years than I had been. Throughout the Odyssey trip, Keena checked in with me about important Oregon history and sightseeing that I had to go and experience, and she was my trusted navigator for various legs of our trip. This early memory of Keena as a caregiver is a very accurate one. Keena is one of our most avid hosts when we have guests in the room. Whether it is a Childpeace student coming up to Metro for a quick errand, or a student spending the day with us, Keena is one of the most welcoming people I know. She clearly takes pride in her community of Childpeace, and she strives to make everyone else feel at home here as she does. Keena also works hard to improve her own skills, often giving up her break time to ask for help on assignments, classwork, or projects. She would take her editing very seriously, working with her peers, her teachers, and on her own to make her work as strong as possible. Because of this attitude toward improvement, she has grown stronger in her skills throughout her time with us at Metro. I can personally vouch for her stronger Spanish skills and her increased writing skills as well. This attention to improvement helped her as she organized and maintained the costumes for our play, The Princess Bride. Kina applied a strong attention to detail that made our costumes quite fitting of their characters. No pun intended. I know that Kina will miss her Childpeace community, and we certainly will miss her. However, we know that this community will carry on within each of our students, especially in Kina, for whom this has been a second home for so much of her life. Please come back to visit, and we wish you the best in all of your high school endeavors.
McIntyre Lindsay. And to speak before Mac is Eleanor Ken.
Mac, I have only known you for a year, but I've grown to know that you're an amazing person. I really like how kind you are. You're always caring and never hurtful or mean to people. You're also very inclusive. I admire that you never turn anyone away and make an effort to be kind and to be their friend. You have a great sense of humor. I guess we could call you a class clown for all the times you've made us laugh. Thank you for being such a great member of our community, and I hope that you have great journeys beyond Metro.
One of my favorite characteristics of Mac, academically, is the concentration and passion he throws into the projects that most capture his imagination. One day when he had worked slightly ahead of the group, I threw a math challenge problem his way, an applied problem about bicycle gearing ratios. A tornado could have gone by him and he would have continued for 2 or 3 days as he focused on the problem. At first he went down a pathway solving it that led to a wrong answer, but he did not want help. One other student had worked on the problem earlier in the year, so I suggested that she write down a clue. He did not want it, he lost it, and started over the next day with the same energy, same frustration, and same joy. When the problem was worked out, he could have explained it to an ant. He is tenacious about anything he wants to understand. I have seen this same joy of learning expressed in his concentration on writing, in humanities research, and especially in the occupations projects that have been around plants and animals. He has a natural sense of understanding and intuition about the biological world. He is definitely a gifted writer. It will be so interesting for all of us to watch the direction of his life path as he carries away these gifts. Mac came to Metro as a 12-year-old after the startup of the year, after his cohort group had begun. He is now the heartbeat of our community life. Mac has sincere and fun ways to relate to teachers and students alike, to 7th and 8th graders, to younger students, and to boys and girls alike. He has a fierce sense of justice and at times has translated his intense emotion into words that articulate a position about the classroom issues that are at hand. We're so glad that he joined this middle school group. His presence in our community will definitely be missed. Fortunately, he has siblings in the school, so we will perhaps see Mac more frequently than others as he moves on to high school at Central Catholic this fall. Mac, may the joyfulness and playfulness that you have brought to learning and to friends only magnify as you move forward. All of our good wishes are with you.
And to say a few words about Sophie, we have Lily. You can come up.
Sophie, I met you on the Odyssey trip at the beginning of the year. She was one of the people who really welcomed me into the group and made me feel like I was part of the class. I think that on the Odyssey trip, our class became really close. Throughout the year, Sophie and I became even closer, and I really enjoyed her being present as my friend. I really look up to Sophie, being she is such an artistic and nice person, and next year I know that she will be missed a lot by everyone, and it will be very sad not to have her here anymore. Sophie has been an amazing friend this year, and I know that I will miss her a lot. But we all wish her the best next year.
To know Sophie is to know a ray of sunshine. She brings cheer and focus to her surroundings, whether it be class, projects, or conversations. She is an organized, diligent worker, striving for the best in herself and in those around her. She puts all of herself into her work, taking pride in accomplishing difficult tasks. Sophie is very strong in long projects that require commitment, especially in writing and in microeconomy. When working on a product, I could always count on Sophie to stick to her product from start to finish, and that included all the cleaning and all of the part that was difficult for a lot of people to get into at the end. Sophie has a level-headed nature that brings with it a maturity. Because of this nature, she has been the voice of reason in the group in many a discussion. She helps the group to keep its focus and to discuss the pertinent topic at hand. Her maturity also makes her a wonderful conversationalist, especially on long drives, like on the way home from our Salish Sea trip. Sophie is also an accomplished actress, having acted in several plays with Northwest Children's Theater. Her acting experience gives her a confidence that helps her to be a natural leader in our community. Her experience also made her a strong resource during our play preparation and during our singing creative expression that we had earlier this year. Sophie, you will be missed next year as you venture forth into high school to Northwest Academy. We hope that you will come back and visit, and please keep us informed about your upcoming performances. Maintain and rely on your maturity. It will help in your growth and your leadership throughout high school and beyond.
And now we would like to present the Metro Montessori Middle School Class of 2012. This is a photo opportunity.
This will be a moment that you can take pictures because Andrea is going to be setting up a slideshow, so if they would all just come here. And then I'm going to ask you to grab a chair because I'm really done this and enjoy the slideshow.
If you guys come to the front of the stage,
Yes.